Greetings and welcome back to Room 303 in our Chats with Emily, as we are calling our readings through the poetry of Emily Dickinson, contained in the Johnson edition. We turn now to poem 200. So for those of you who have been reading with us all along, and that is our assumption here, at learnstrong.net, down that left-hand side, again, Chats with Emily, our playlist, we have now made it 200 poems in. And this little poem, I stole them from a bee. It's a remarkable little poem. It requires a bit of background knowledge to be able to figure out exactly what it is she's talking about. It's another one of those poems sent to Sam Boyles, and in fact, in a letter, number 248, what we call master letter sometime, she says, in effect, "Tell me my fault, forgive me, don't banish me." And then she'll continue, quote, "Wonder at your unforgiving behavior stings me more than the bee who never did sting me, but made gay music." The poem seems to be referring to a situation, Emily's perhaps in the same metaphor, referring to Sam Boyles, something along the lines of, "Because you've heard my sweet plea," as she'll say it, "and pardoned me, I have stolen the stings from the bee." In other words, I'm no longer hurting or stinging with wonder at your lack of forgiveness because you forgive or pardon me. The tone of this poem, compared to the tone of 199 that we just finished, is remarkable. And I'm hopeful that, in this part of our assumptions, that you've worked through our introductory set of comments at learnstrong.net, Chats with Emily, our playlist. I'm hopeful that you've been reading all the preceding 200 poems. Consider it. When we meet poem 200, and we've done close study now of 200 poems, you are now only 1,575 poems away from finishing our study of the Johnson edition, if that gives you any light at the end of the tunnel kinds of look. I'm hopeful, though, that this reading has been so pleasant and joy-filled for you that you're ready to continue. Let's enjoy this little poem. It is another poem about acceptance. It will be a poem about pardon, and I want you, even though there's only 4 lines here, I want you to consider the power we've said this before about her short poems. In poem 1063, she says, "Ashes denote that fire was," and this is definitely one of those little 4-line poems that denote that fire was, all right? Let's enjoy it. "I stole them from a bee because thee, sweet plea, he pardoned me." Now, notice the way that Emily adopts religious language. We've seen this a number of times already, and it isn't clear exactly what it is that she stole. What is the antecedent to the pronoun them? Is it insults? Is it stings of a bee? Of course, we've seen her use of bees already. "I stole them from a bee because thee." Now, if we believe that the thee here is Sam Boyles, and we believe that, in fact, that she is referencing some insults or stings that happened, and some maybe negative energy between the two of them, then the third line makes some sense. Sweet plea. Now notice sweet plea sounds a lot like sweet pea, which would be a term of endearment. Of course, the pleading language will ultimately lead to the 4th line. He pardoned me. Now I'm fascinated that in all of Emily's poetry, pardoned gets used one and only one time. It is obviously religious language, so it's fascinating that she would play the game. But the he, we're going to assume, of this poem is actually not God the Father or Jesus Christ or some religious figure, but rather whoever it is that the thee is of the 2nd line. And if in fact this is what any number of scholars, from Priest to others, have argued, that in fact what she's saying to her pal, to Sam Boyles, is, "I'm hopeful that I am forgiven. I'm hopeful that we are in good footing." And that makes some sense. I think at 2A, then, the message here is that to feel forgiven or pardoned is amazing, especially if you're dealing with a friendship or you're dealing with someone that you're hopeful you have not too badly insulted them and they're ready to pardon or to forgive you. At 2B, the rhetorical here, I am interested in the ambiguity of he, and that the fact pardon gets used one and only one time in all her poetry. At 3A, well, this takes us obviously back to our study of Milton's Paradise Regained. We did Paradise Lost and Regained, but I want to concentrate here on the notion of regained because of the idea of being pardoned or forgiven. We've given full lectures at learnstrong.net on both Paradise Lost as well as Regained. Notice, I will also say at 3A, notice the remarkable difference between these two poems set on the page 199 and 200. It is remarkable that in 199, the voice, the tone is so unbelievably defiant. Our study just completed of that one. I'm wife, stop there. With, he pardoned me. It's unbelievable the difference in the tonage between these two. One being defiance, independent, I'm the czar. And then the other one, I'm so happy that you have pardoned me, that you've forgiven me for whatever it is that she did. Finally, at 3b, just to own a little poem like this, when was a time that you were relieved to be pardoned by a pal and to say, I'm so grateful that you have accepted whatever it is that we've done between the two of us? Well, guys, you've made it to 200. Congratulations. Thank you.